we access this for our own self?
Thank you. Your third question, in a sense, is actually something that can be answered by the first two. Because of what the concept of the photon belt is, will show you how your third question is already answered. The photon belt, even though there will be and is an exteriorized representation of this concept, is something that is representative of the collective consciousness of your own people. In other words, to use an analogy, you are familiar with the idea that as your technology sought to break the sound barrier, and as you built machines that got closer and closer and closer to breaking the sound barrier, there would be a type of buildup, a shock wave that made it seem more and more difficult to go through that barrier, a type of resistance built up ahead of the aircraft until such time as the aircraft actually then finally broke through, and after it broke through that particular barrier, then it went much faster and the going, as you say, was much smoother. But until it broke through, there was a buildup and a resistance. Do you follow me so far by analogy?
Yes.
This photon belt is such an analogy, such an idea. The collective consciousness of your entire planet, its idea of crossing a threshold, its recognition of there being the ending of a cycle and the beginning of a new cycle, is causing a buildup of energy. This buildup of consciousness energy expresses itself in your physical reality as electromagnetic energy fields. This electromagnetic energy field that is being referred to as the photon belt is simply the physical representation of the threshold that you're all going through, that you're all crossing, in a sense. It is the resistance you all have to being your full selves. But as you get closer and closer and closer and closer to being your full selves, the resistance will actually seem to be greater and greater and greater and greater and greater until such time as you simply allow yourselves to be your full selves, and then, with a bang, in a sense, you will cross the threshold, and it will be smoother sailing on the other side. And therefore, as this then answers your third question by letting you understand that the more you simply allow yourself to be who you really are, and accept yourself and give yourself unconditional love, the smoother the sailing will be, and the quicker you will be able to cross through that threshold, and the smoother any particular manifestations in physical reality will be. Do you follow that?
Yes.
Does that answer your question?
I believe it does, but I had this thought from other people that kind of said there was some kind of like stuff that we're going to pass through it. So we're going to pass...
I just told you, yes.
We're going to pass through our own consciousness. And
that is what you are doing, and your own consciousness does create an electromagnetic effect, and so there will be some outside effects, but the way in which you choose to go through your own consciousness, the way in which you choose to become yourself, the smoother you do that, the smoother the effects will be outwardly. Do you follow that?
Yes, I do.
Does that help you?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Thank you. You. Good day.
Good day. I developed this speech problem.
Speech challenge.
Speech challenge.
Yes.
Good, yeah. Over the last 3 months or so.
All right.
And so in the...
Can you be more specific about what you are experiencing symptomologically?
Well, like my thoughts, what I'm trying to say doesn't come out. What I am thinking doesn't,
Yes.
my voice will not say those words.
Maybe you don't need to say so much.
I've considered that.
Oh, all right. Now, I am not attempting to be facetious,
Yeah.
but the idea really can have some merit.
Mm-hmm.
It might be simply that you need to understand you're going through a transitional state, and that sometimes certain kinds of transitional states your people will go through will actually mean you do need a type of meditative withdrawal.
Yeah.
You do need to go more into the center of yourself and not really communicate outwardly as much as you think you need to. In other words, say more with less.
I understand.
This really is the reflective analogy, because this is the very crux, the very heart of learning the power of your being, to be able to do more with less. Mm-hmm. You see, this is the secret of all abundance and all creativity and all manifestation. When you learn to do more with less, you will then need to do less to get more. That's what you need to do. And so this is your way, through this communicative style, is your way right now. It may change, but it's your way right now of slowing yourself down in a sense, seemingly slowing yourself down so that you can actually paradoxically speed up. But you have to pull yourself in a little bit, let it be all right to be in this space, and change the rate at which and the style in which you communicate so that you can learn to communicate more efficiently, more effectively, really, truly, by saying more with less. Because remember, the greatest power requires the gentlest touch to get something done. The more you have to do, the less powerful you actually think you are. The greatest power requires the lightest touch and gets everything done. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So relax into yourself, find the new pace within you, and synchronize. Let yourself synchronize. You will. Now, simultaneously, and this goes for all of you, remember, you must begin treating yourselves very well. You must begin treating yourselves very well. You must allow yourselves to be healthy, behave in a healthy manner, make sure you have enough purified water, air, movement, no stress, no toxins. You follow? All these things are important now, more important than ever, because you are refining your vibrations, refining your energy, and you don't want to necessarily spend energy fighting against yourself. So, for many of you, and I don't mean to plant this in your mind, it can be very simple, but for many of you it's going to be tough enough without heaping upon yourself all those additional things. So, be kind to yourself. Be nice to yourself. Lighten up on yourself in a variety of ways. Let yourself fall into your appropriate pace and trust that whatever is going on right now, and this can apply to many situations, whatever is going on right now needs to be what is going on right now. Paradoxically, again, when you allow what is to be what needs to be, what is can become what it needs to become. Did you follow that?
Yeah.
When you allow what is to be okay, that it's there, and not fight it, then what is there can become something else. And that something else will be, if you let it, more reflective of your true, bigger, more powerful self. If you let it. Notice I said, you don't have to make it. Just if you let it. Because life is allowance. You follow?
Thank you.
Does this help you?
Yes.
Have I used too many words to explain this to you?
No.
Thank you. Male, then female. Number one, do you know who you are? All right. Number two, do you know who you are? All right.
Good day, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Bashar, a few weeks ago you talked about a template moving into place
Yes.
over the next 2.5 years.
Yes. Template grinding into place.
Right, 2001.
Yes.
And that there was, in a sense, a window of time for us to surrender to ourselves.
Yes.
Past that moment,
Things will be a little more difficult.
a little more difficult.
Only in the sense that if you want to align, you'll have to align more quickly, and not that many of you are used to doing it that quickly. I'm not saying it is inherently more difficult. It is more difficult based on your patterns. In the sense that when there's not much time left to align, and you have to do it quickly, not many of you know how to do that with grace. You may have to find yourself flailing, kicking, and screaming. You will do it. If you have intended to do it, you will do it. We're just letting you know that if you stop kicking and screaming now, if you let go now, things will be much smoother and much easier than they will be for you later, based on how quickly you yourself will want to accelerate later, and how uneasy that may make you feel simply because you're not used to it. Did you follow that logic?
I did, but I'm trying to get a sense of
Yes.
what changes after the year 2001 that's going to make it more
You
difficult.
are reaching critical mass. And it isn't just your year of 2001. That's one threshold. There are many beyond that as well, between 2001 and approximately 2013. It's like a series of stepping up gears. So the idea is that when enough of your society begins to arrive at a certain level of understanding, a certain awakening, a certain frequency, then that frequency acts as a trigger mechanism and makes it more likely for more people to also step up their frequency. So you have had so much attention for so long on your year of 2001, and also that your consciousness is using it as the shifting point in general of a cycle, that it is creating a critical mass. You follow?
Yes, I do.
It's like what you call a snap the whip.
Okay.
And thus then you will find that that wave will come along very quickly. Those who are ready to ride it will grab on and ride it smoothly, because they will have nothing holding them back, nothing weighing them down. Those who have that resistance issue, those weighty issues that they are still dealing with, may find it a little bit more difficult to hold on to the whip when the wave comes by. You follow me?
Yes, I do. The wave analogy helps a lot.
Oh, all right.
Because, in a sense, it's within me, looking at the 2.5 years, I'm thinking, well, I better really get my act together so I can catch that wave, in a sense, between
Yes.
now and then.
But don't do it in a worrisome or judgmental way.
That's my point, because
Yes.
when you use the wave analogy, well, okay, now I'm on the beach, I'm
Yes.
I'm on a board, and
All right.
I have
Very good.
I have an opportunity
Yes.
to catch the wave.
All right, well, very good. And you have made a good point. And the point you have made that is good and good for everyone in this particular gathering is that it is up to each and every one of you to decide how to interpret this concept. And your interpretation for you is correct. There isn't one way. You have all the basic same understanding of what kind of transition and change is going on energetically. It's up to you to decide exactly what the methodology shall be for how you will relate to it and how it will work best for you. Use whatever terminology and symbology works for you, and that will be correct. Why? Because you came up with it. Because you know what you're doing. Believe it or not, you know what you're doing. You have to trust that. You know what you're doing. And if you mull it around in your imagination, and you could have done it without this conversation, I'm not chastising you, I'm just letting you know, you could have had this conversation in your own head and said, well, you know, you talked about this template grinding and this and that. Well, you know, if I thought about it like a wave, it would make more sense to me and I would understand it. Right. You could have had that conversation completely internally, and in fact, you actually have. Because I'm only a catalyst and a trigger. I'm not giving it to you. Right. You are just allowing yourself to give it to yourself in this particular format.
I understand. One of the things that I learned from you over the years was that your own speed, your own time, we're infinite beings. What's the rush?
Yes.
And then when you threw in that template thing, that it seemed like a mixed message. I had to hurry for some reason.
Oh, I see.
And so that's what I was
well,
trying
that
to
just shows you may have a few semantic bumps to smooth out within you.
All right.
That's all.
Okay.
Because it's all a matter of definition. And it's an opportunity for you to learn to trust yourself instead of all of a sudden hearing a word that you don't right understand and suddenly doubting that you have an understanding of the whole concept just because of that one word. Do you follow?
Yes.
The idea is to say, no, wait a minute, I did understand it, and just because this word doesn't seem to fit doesn't mean I don't understand it now. Find a way to make yourself know you understand it.
Well, that's pretty much what I had to do. It was like,
yes.
well, wait a minute, I don't get it the way he's saying it. I'm going to follow my own way.
Thank you. That is what we have always implored all of you to do. Follow your own way. That's what counts.
Okay.
Does that help you?
Yes, it does.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Bashar.
Number 2.
Hello, Bashar.
And you good day.
It's been a while.
Oh, all right, if you insist. Speak up and be bold so that all may hear what you have to share.
First, I wanted to say thank you.
All right, thank you. And you're welcome.
I was sort of out in the blue, you might say, and got a hold of your tapes, which sort of explained what was happening to me.
All right. Thank you for your synchronicity and explaining it to yourself by using us as a reflection.
Okay. A friend of mine is in contact with some ETs.
Yes.
And they state that they will soon be in contact with myself and my mate.
All right.
Could you by any chance
I trust you're not asking me to verify that.
No, no, no. Just give me some idea of where they're from.
Nope.
Okay. Next question.
Yes.
If you're living in a toxic area and
Yes.
need to do that for a little bit longer, how can you keep it from overpowering you, so to speak?
You can allow yourself to detoxify in the most natural and organic way possible. Many, many, many applications can be made of what you call natural herbs and such that act as very powerful detoxifiers, and when they are formulated correctly will allow you to go through these detoxifications in a smooth, transitional way. Avail yourself of these ideas and make sure they are as pure as possible.
Okay, and one more question.
Yes.
I seem to be having a little bit of problem with my brain, they tell me.
I see.
And
That is a conundrum.
Yeah. And want me either to have an operation or to have parts burnt with radiation.
I see.
Which I choose not to do.
I see. Again,
yeah.
you may find that some of the ideas, depending upon the time frame and depending upon what you're doing with your own belief systems and what your belief systems most strongly believe they need to do, path of least resistance, allow yourself again to remember that again, if you have within you set up the structure of an appropriate time frame, you can still alleviate even this with the idea of detoxification in the utilization of pure herbal formulations.
Okay. Thank you.
What you need to do is make sure that your body is capable of repairing itself. And what this usually implies is that you have to oxygenate it, make sure enough blood is getting to every part of your body, make sure you have enough water so that the cells can flush the toxins out, and so forth.
Okay.
You follow?
Well, actually, I have an oxygen tank in my living room, which I
Yes,
exercise
but this may
with.
not be sufficient.
Okay.
The idea is that you have to detoxify the body, and there are herbal concoctions that can do this. If you will do your research, there are also some suggestions and recommendations that can be made by the channel, if you wish, after this transmission, if you wish to talk to him about it.
Okay.
All right?
Yep.
Does that help you?
Yes, it does.
Thank you.